Hi, my name is Jordyn. I'm a former Teen Advisory Board member at the DeSoto Library. I am 20 years old, and this is my story. I'm hoping that my story encourages teens who are in high school that want to go to college. I first learned about the pandemic during my physics class my freshman spring semester. I was listening in a conversation with some of my peers, and they were talking about how we're going to get sent home soon, and they were excited about it, about being at home for a little while. But it was it was surprising when we did get sent home. Like, we didn't have a spring break, so once we went home, we were already preparing for online classes, and it was like a rough transition from just jumping from in-person class, like 3 days of spring break maybe, and then straight into online class. A typical day for me at school before the pandemic was waking up, surprisingly, for my 8 a.m. class really early enough to go get breakfast, which was usually just a cup of oatmeal, and then attending my classes, which usually end around maybe 1, and then going straight to work. I work at the mail center, and after work, I usually go hang out with some friends in our lobby at our commons or go grab dinner and maybe attend some activities or events that's happening around campus. The pandemic transformed my school life a lot more than I thought it would. I will wake up about 5 minutes before class because most of my classes were all online, and I totally do not recommend waking up 5 minutes before class. But waking up, going to class in pajamas, and I really didn't feel energized like I used to, just getting up and walking outside to go to class. And then since most all my classes were online, I felt very bogged down by like when class end, and I usually find myself just eating chips through class or snacking and not really giving class my total attention. Work was fun. I felt like work was an escape for me because I actually did go outside and interact with others. Since we weren't able to like have people over like we used to in our commons, we had to find different ways to hang out. So most of the time when I did hang out with my friends, it was outside or maybe like a small grab and go lunch. But events were really small. It was more like, oh, get your trinket and snack, fellowship a little while, but it wasn't like this, the events I attended my freshman semester. I feel like the pandemic has been really tough on high school students. Um, for me, during high school, when I transitioned to college, it was fun. It was like a fun, exciting event. We had prom, we had social events, and just seeing that class of 2020, 2021, their experience are very different. Their prom is different. Some didn't even have a prom. I have a cousin that's a freshman now, and just transitioning from 8th grade to freshman year completely online. I encourage teens that are in high school to stay motivated academically and give it your all, because the small actions that you showed during the pandemic, it will carry out through your life. Because if you show that you're able to continue to succeed in the pandemic, or you're continuing to work hard even though it's online classes, it's online work, and you're able to find ways to complete it, you're showing that you have drive and you have passion to continue even when things get tough. And life is not always easy, and you face challenges and you face things that you might not want to do. And to be able to say that I conquered my academics during the pandemic, it makes things that might come up in the future seem a lot less harder. I feel like being able to push yourself during this pandemic just shows that you're really strong and that you're really able to continue through your journey of life and succeed much more than you thought you would. I do believe that the lack of being social has affected students' mental health. As a high schooler, I saw people on a daily basis, and we had class with people, and being able to just communicate in person meant a lot. And now that it's online and we have to social distance, we have to find new ways to communicate, but at times it may feel like you're alone. And it may feel like the stress of classes, the stress of the pandemic may feel like too much. And being able to communicate that through a text or a Zoom message may not feel the same as it would be to just talk to someone in person. Know that you're not alone and there's other people that are experiencing the same feelings that you are feeling. 50 years from now, when a teen asks me about the pandemic, I would tell them that it was interesting, very interesting, in that it changed me in some ways for the better, and in some ways it taught me how to procrastinate, but I am working on improving that procrastination. But it also brought out the best in people, and it brought out community and being able to just rely on your community, even though it seems that in certain cases that you are alone. I also want to advise you just to cherish the moments that you do have with your family. I know it might be annoying having to be at home with maybe your younger siblings for such a long time, but just being able to hang out with my older brothers has been fun, and just doing small things together, it makes me feel more, I guess, alive during this time because you're able to interact with them on a more personal level than you are with others because of social distancing. And just being able to know that you have your family there to back you up in this time is very important.